So I had a meeting today, and can we just talk about proximity for a second? If God has called you to something, you always hear people say, if God puts something in your life, if God has a goal for you, if God has a dream for you or a plan for you, He provides for it, right? You hear that. And it's like, yep, God will provide, God will provide. But how do we practically see that? How do we practically receive the provision of what He is calling you to do? I find that the more frustrated you get where you currently are, the more your self that's already here, that already has the thing, that already believes she has received, the closer you are to her. Because now everything that you have been in is now out of alignment with how far you've risen, how much you've grown, what you see for yourself, what you know you deserve, now that God has changed the way you see yourself and the way you see the situations you've been through in life. You got two different type of people. You got people who are like, this happened to me and this is why I'm like this. Or you have the people that are like, well, if this didn't happen to me, then I wouldn't be there, here, whatever. Because you're now looking at it from a love standpoint, which God is love, meaning that He doesn't waste anything you go through, meaning that He uses everything to further prepare you for where He's taking you. So what does it look like when God uses proximity in our lives? You know you're close to a thing when God begins to put you around people who are experiencing it or who are about to experience it, who are also at that breakthrough point like you are. And I find by putting yourself in these high vibe areas, in areas where wealth exists, in areas where business exists, in areas where people don't get limited by their limiting beliefs, they just continue to go and go and go and do and do and do, despite the feeling that they have. It's when you get in proximity, it's not just about making physical connections. It is about that, because networking is important, but it's about being in spaces that raise you to the place to be able to receive that for yourself. And I believe that divinely, when God leads you to go and check out a consultant, God leads you to go ahead and go to that networking event, go ahead and go to that person's house, and you see where they're at. It's not about material things. It's about the mindset. It's about being in the space, in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, to dwell in a place of success, to dwell in a place of obtaining what it is that you see yourself at. Because if God gave you what you're asking for, if God showed you what He has for your future in the place you're in now, it would overwhelm you. Why? Because one, your nervous system has been in fight or flight, in survival mode for so long that when things are going too well, when you are too at peace, when things are working out too well for too long, you panic, because that's not your norm. What you're used to is things falling apart or things going wrong. That's what you're used to. And so God has to get you to a place where you regulate to, I am a new creation. This is who I am now. I live in abundance. Money flows to me. God provides for me continually. You have to get to a place where that's your norm. And then that's what you begin to see for yourself. That's what you begin to regulate to. And once you're regulated to where you're going, you can easily receive it. But God has to put you in proximity to these things. And you'll repel it if you struggle with jealousy or frustration or bitterness towards God or anyone else, or disappointment. You'll repel proximity because you'll be like, well, I don't need to be around that kind of stuff. And she always bragging about what she has. And people who are secure in themselves and know what they have, who are confident in their gifts, they aren't bragging. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely people that are prideful, but we are so immersed in insecure culture that people being confident and secure in themselves and sure of themselves sounds like bragging and arrogance. And so you have to put yourself in proximity to hear conversations, to see what wealth looks like, how wealth moves, to see how a generous person is because they live in abundance. Because these are biblical principles. People in the Bible were wealthy. Solomon, David was a king, for God's sake. Jacob, Joseph, Abraham, they had things. Livestock, and now back then, livestock, that's what that thing was, right? That's where the money was at. Joseph was Prince of Egypt, risen to position from a place lower than where he was going. And so God uses proximity to regulate you, to get you accustomed to the place he is taking you. So when you get around stuff, don't act like it's brand new to you. See yourself in that environment, operating in that environment as your highest self, as who God has called you to be. See yourself being gentle and kind. See yourself being generous. See yourself functioning in abundance. See it for yourself, and to do that, you have to get in proximity of the places you will be when you make it to where you see yourself going. That's my insight for the day. Go places where future you would go. Talk to people who future you would talk to. Ain't no feeling, I don't have this or that. No, go and do it. You'd be surprised how many people will be willing to be in proximity of you, or with you, or talk to you, or network with you, despite where you are now. So do it. Get in those positions, get in those places, because it will only bring you up to a place that you need to be, mentally, spiritually, and physically, and emotionally. Like I said, it's all regulation. So yeah, I pray this blessed you. For those of you going places who know God has more for you, who've been frustrated, get in proximity and allow God to show you, this is where I'm taking you. Okay?